That intro music is because of the man who is sitting right next to me today. He gave me this recommendation a couple of months ago, and that's why we do it each and every week. And it's my pleasure and honor to have with us, as we do every Friday, the immortal, one and only Tony Mondaro, the longtime director of the Harrison Weather Center. Tony, thank you for being here as you are each and every Friday.
Kev, how are you after this busy week with eclipses, storms, taxes, the Mets win, the Devils are out of it. My God, we don't know where to start this week.
Seriously, I'd mentioned to you, like Tony and I, we always kind of brief us each other a little bit before we get on the air, and we were talking about Louis Guillorme pitching the ninth inning for the Atlanta Braves, and the Mets beating the Braves 16-4 yesterday. How is that even possible? And then now they're 5-7 coming home, and Dwight Gooden's numbers being retired this weekend. It could be a really good weekend for the Mets.
Yeah, if the weather cooperates. I think tonight might be a little tricky, but Saturday and Sunday they should be able to get the game in. And Kevin, looking at the current weather with a temperature of 58 degrees right now, and it's still a little bit windy outside. Lyndhurst Middle School wound up gusting to 45 miles per hour last night, but they're a little bit elevated. They're up on the hill. We almost had about of an inch to an inch of rain, depending on where you were measuring it across the area. And I think more of the same for today. Periods of rain are still possible. Might even get a clap of thunder. And the storm that's causing this is into the Great Lakes area and pretty strong too. So don't be surprised if some of us hear maybe a clap of thunder, but checking in with the Storm Prediction Center, these thunderstorms won't be severe. Now, with that said, remember they still can cause cloudy ground lightning strikes. So those who are outdoors, especially the high school or anybody out of doors after school or this evening, just be careful. Remember, thunder roars, goes indoor, and also if you have flooding, turn around, don't drown. Never, ever, ever, ever drive through anything that's ever flooded. The roads are covered with water. Best to turn around and not go through any flooded waters like that. And the high temperatures today will wind up maybe near 60 degrees. Could touch that. Tonight, overnight low temperatures in the 40s, with still that chance of showers, but mostly cloudy skies prevailing. And a mix of sun and clouds, we're thinking now, for both Saturday and Sunday, with high temperatures in the 60s and overnight low temperatures near 50 degrees. I would say 48 to 52. The wind starts to back down, across the weekend. And Kev, you really, I think you should be my partner here in weather because you were perfect on Tuesday saying that we are going to have a nice dry weekend next week with temperatures, as you said on Tuesday, in the 70s. So now, easy for those who have gardens. Take it easy because really should wait till around May 1st before we throw in the plants. That's our average last frost to be safe. And then for snow, I think we're done, unfortunately, for snow fans for the rest of the season. Anybody who may get a stray flurry now would be well north and west of our area. So, we'll look for that, nice weather coming in for next week. Your soil temperatures are up to 55, so it's time to start reseeding and stuff like that. And we're looking good from here on out, Kev. As far as any type of real heavy rain, I think that has now pushed off. Because have some more showers through the night, but nothing like we had last night and early this morning.
Tomorrow, the Kearney Generals Cheerleaders KGC is having a car show at the VFW in Kearney. In your best estimation, will they be able to get through it, or are you looking at some possibilities that they might have to postpone, do you think?
I believe, Kev, they probably will be able to get through that. I think any showers that would maybe affect that would be early before noon tomorrow. As we get deeper into the weekend, it'll get nicer. And then there's a carnival going on, isn't there, down there at the down by the marina?
That's correct. We got the carnival going
Mm-hmm.
on. The car show is happening. This is a busy time of year, and I never quite understood it. April is always hit or miss, but there are a lot of events that are going on right now, including
Right.
things like tomorrow is also a wellness fair. at Lincoln Middle School in Kearney. So at least that I believe that's indoors. So at least they won't have to worry about it. But I'm most concerned for the kids who are cheerleaders for the KGC. They are Tony. You know, you always talk about how wonderful the acting is at Harrison High School too. You want to talk about cheerleaders who are professional at a young age. These kids are remarkable, the work that they do. And this fundraiser is going to help them to go to their national competition this year, which I believe is in Hawaii this year. And believe it or not, so you can imagine it's going to be a little costly to fly to a whole bunch of kids to Hawaii, but they're great competitors.
And I think you would agree, Kev. You have to really give the kids credit. It's a lot of hard work, behind the scenes to
Yeah,
practice, every day. No matter if you're in a play, if you're in a band, you're a cheerleader, you're an athlete. There's a lot of practice involved, and to try to do good in school, your studies. And remember, kids' studies should always really come first, and then your activities out there, and of course, with support of your mom and dad. Make sure
amen.
that they get out there and root you on if they can. It's really good stuff.
You know, you're talking about the dedication too. Let me just give you an insight to the KGC cheer team. They used to be connected to the recreation department, but they aren't anymore. So you know what that means. Not a penny comes from the town. Everything they do, they fundraise. And Stephanie Comp, who is here watching us, is one of the most active. I think she might even be the director of the program. And they have to come up with all the money on their own, and they do it every year. They've been to Texas. I think they went to Texas last year. I know they were in Florida one year. So really, it's remarkable to see the work that the teenagers around here do. And I'm not just talking about this cheerleading team, because you saw it just a couple of weeks ago at Harrison High School. It's remarkable the dedication that these young people put into the work that they do.
Kev, I'm
Truly,
still singing Starlight songs three
right?
weeks now going.
I never got a
So
chance.
it's really.
It really is, but I never had a chance to tell you this. A woman who was 87 years old sent me an email and said it was the first time she'd ever been to a high school show, and she couldn't believe her eyes, what she was seeing and what she was hearing. How about that?
Yep. Like I said, when we presented that, it was the closest I've ever seen to a Broadway play on a high school level. It was that good. And now you got to remember, coming in the next few weeks, we got the spring concerts coming up. Kearney High School, Harrison High School concert. Harrison High School also tags the art show with Maya Cosmos there. So it's really good stuff there.
It is. And also coming up too, I had a chance to sit down with Sean Dollahan, the new athletic director at Harrison High School. They have their Athletic Hall of Fame induction coming up in a couple of weeks too, with a very, very cool class of inductees. And you know, he's doing a phenomenal job, Sean, as the new athletic director in year number two. They didn't have a Hall of Fame installation from 1994 to 2023, and now they have two in a row. So great stuff happening, not just in Harrison, but all over the place. It really is remarkable. And Carol Manley, who was a longtime member of the CS11 union, they're having a retirement party this weekend. So everybody's got stuff to do this week, whether it's inside or outside.
Now, is that the same Carol Manley who's the Kearney Woman of the Year?
Oh, yes, that is correct. I'm glad you mentioned that. Carol Manley is Carney's Woman of the Year. And
Yeah.
she was, yes, very good. She was honored by the county executive and the mayor a couple of weeks ago in Jersey City. She's somebody who I consider a dear friend. I absolutely love her. She does so much for this community, and we are all so lucky to have her. She knows it, but she won't admit it, but it's the truth.
I tell you, you get to miss them too, because I remember Carol not only as a crossing guard but as a parking violations officer. And I'm here to spread some good news. I never received a summons from Carol, so I guess I,
You were
parked in
the
the
one.
right spot.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yep.
but Carol, and you get to used to these people, and they really do a really good job. I'm glad that she was recognized too, as well as the rest of the people are who watch us too. A lot of them are civic minded. A lot of them are into the sports and into the community, and that's really good. And for those of you who are not, get involved in the community, whether it be Harrison, North Arlington, Belleville, Lyndhurst. Nutley, all these towns. Get involved in your local community. It's really, really, really nice with everything going on. And remember, folks, I almost forgot, like and subscribe our broadcast.
Thank
Helps the algorithm on Facebook and on YouTube. Me and Kevin would really appreciate that.
And look at the screen right now. As soon as you said that, I hit the button, and there it pops up right up on the screen too. You are, of course, as dedicated an employee as the borough of North Arlington has. And I'm not trying to toot everybody's horn today, but it's just the truth, and take it for what it's worth. On Sunday, the borough of North Arlington is doing something very, very special. They are dedicating a park in memory of the late Detective Sergeant Joseph Seals, who was killed in the line of duty in Jersey City a couple of years ago. I don't know. Do you remember that day, Tony? Because we listened to it on the scanner that day. What a horrifying day that was. But this is one of
Yeah,
those things.
yeah, Kevin. Unfortunately, I remember a lot of horrifying days in my career. Here in 43 years, whether it be, 9/11, Sandy, COVID, some of the bigger deaths and funerals that we've had to go through town. We can do a show within itself of just being a career emergency medical service employee, a policeman, a fireman, public works. Um, it's really incredible some of the things that you have to see sometimes. But thankfully, we have good leadership in North Arlington, and we have good leadership in Kearney and Harrison and the surrounding communities. So we get a lot done. Mayor Pronte, and he's my boss ultimately, and our borough administrator, Steve Lolacano, they really do a great job along with our council and the rest of the councils too. So I really can't single one out, but the whole entire community. I know we always land on that. It seems every week,
Right.
but folks, it's the truth.
It's impossible not to. When you see it happening, when you see these things that go on, uh, Joe Seals gave his life in service to Jersey City, and he was killed by two disgusting pigs in a cemetery because he was there to do his job. And it makes me sick that this happened to him. But the mayor, a former sergeant himself, always remembers people who need to be honored, and that's why Joe Seals will be forever immortalized with this park in North Arlington. And it is the truth. These towns that we cover, we are so lucky to have the leadership we do, and it's not just blowing smoke up their butts either. It really isn't. Tony, they do incredible work, and Dan Pronti is a fine example of that. And I'm so glad this is happening on Sunday, and I hope to be there to see it. I hope the weather holds up for it.
I'll tell you something. I worked under a few mayors in 43 years, and I would say, without a doubt, not because he's my current boss, but I would say he's probably one of the best mayors that we've had through my 43-year tenure here in town. Not to say the rest of them were not good,
Right.
they were, but Dan, I think, shines above the rest. What he's done for the youth, the community, and stuff like that. He gets it. That's what we say in our field. Dan gets it.
That's right. That's right. I mean, the fact that he's a retired police officer, he's retired, period, and he can, his whole life is being mayor. He's there every day. He's going to stores and restaurants and supporting the businesses that are there and doing so many things. And I couldn't agree more. And again, that is not to say that there haven't been other good mayors, because there have been. But he just he sets the tone, and that's why he is so special, indeed. If you're just joining us, Tony Mondaro,
And,
the Harrison Weather Center's here with us. What were you going to say, Tone? I apologize.
yeah, he's always thinking out of the box too,
Hmm.
which is good.
Yeah, absolutely,
Always
absolutely.
for the community.
Yeah, in
Hmm
fact, I
Sometimes
believe.
it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with him.
Oh, it is. It is. I think he was the first person to insist, and I think he did this with Lynn Cavadas, but he's the first to ever have a sensory section for parades. Things like that. He's always thinking out of the box, and that's why they are so lucky. And great stuff. Great stuff. So, what's going on this weekend? Are you going to make a stop at White Castle, or where are you heading this weekend?
I think
It's
we have
coming
to have
every
a
week. You should have known
we
that
have
was
to have
coming.
a pilgrimage, I think, Kev, one weekend up there and take everybody who watches us over to the White Castle on Route 17 there to meet Margaret and Elizabeth, our two top employees there. Yeah, yeah. The weekends are my weekend. Yeah, that's one of our stops. It's usually mid to late morning.
Awesome, awesome. I'm craving them right now. I want a crave pack, so I may have to order some this weekend. I'll tell you what.
Why you opened up Pandora's box? How many can you have in one sitting, Kev?
I used to be able to have a dozen, but I'm down to six now. But by the time I get to the sixth one, it's kind of like, God, it's gonna be great tonight.
Yeah, and
Yep.
back in the day when it was open 24/7, and I
Yep.
was working on actively on the ambulance itself. No matter what time you passed it, coming back from Hackensack Medical Center, you always had to stop to have at least one. And my max is about six, about the same as yours, 5 to 6. That's enough for me.
Do you have ketchup and pickles on yours, or or do you have them plain?
Some Saturdays I'm a pickle guy. Other days I'm not a pickle guy. It all
No,
depends. It all depends at the moment too. Sometimes that decision is not made until I actually get to the order screen there.
that's it. It's got that last second choice, right? My mother, for example, no ketchup on hers. So everybody's got their preference for White Castle. But I even know some Michelle, my colleague who's sitting right next to me, no onions on hers. So you just never know what it's going to be, right?
Absolutely. And Kev, New York Mets, baby, 16-4 with Atlanta the other day. That's pretty good, right?
It is
Yep.
insane.
Yeah.
It's always when you don't expect that the New York Metropolitans are going to give you something to cheer about. And 16-4 yesterday, it's got to be one of the widest margins of victory in the last couple of years. And they looked great. Brett Beatty is certainly showing that he belongs up here, and the pitching has been good. The bullpen's been great. There's nothing bad to say about the last week of the Mets, and maybe it's that they got a chance to get the hell out of Dodge and go on the road. It just seems like when they're home, the pressure's higher, and they're not ready to perform. They go on the road, and they have a great couple of days. So I think we could have a fun weekend this weekend.
And Lisa, we're not forgetting about the New York Yankees. We know they're on the fast track for the World Series this year. Me and Kevin know that. We've come to the realization but Judge though he's not having a good year so far. They're saying he's a little bit. He
No.
started off a little slow, but you got Juan Soto to make up for it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah. Judge, he's had a slow year. He'll be fine, though. He'll be fine. And I have to bring this to the table. I'm going to switch to the hockey for a second. Before we came on the air, Tony asked me who I thought was going to win the Stanley Cup, and Denise Pavs. My answer was the New York Rangers. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you just got to use logic. They had the best regular season they've ever had. They're probably going to win the President's Trophy. The only thing that stands in the way of the Rangers in the Stanley Cup, however, are the New York Islanders. So I think most Islander fans are praying that they don't have to play the Rangers in the first round and get knocked out in the first round like they did last year to the New Jersey Devils. We don't want to talk about that, though, because that was a year ago. But truly, I mean, I'm just being objective. As much as it would pain me to see the Rangers win the cup, people like Alyssa Facito, who are here, and Denise Pavlik, who are watching right now, would be in heaven if the Rangers won a cup. I'll be in mourning, but that's okay. Tony, always a pleasure to be on the air with you. And how about you sign us off like you have been the last couple of weeks? Can you do that for us?
Absolutely. Everybody have a great weekend. For my dear friend Kevin Canessa, this is Tony Mondaro from the Observer Live, the Harrison Weather Center. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Bye bye, everybody.